Hey crafty people, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be playing with the Spellbinders Large Die of the Month for February 2022. I'm going to be showing you how I turn this into an interactive card, and also how you could turn anything into an interactive card with the pull tab. So I've cut out the various bits that you need to make this. Makes like a typewriter, which is awesome. I think it's so cute. I love it. So I've got mainly matte black, but I have got some glossy black as well, just to add some little accents. So this is like the little keyboard bit, and you get these little bits that you stick behind it that create the buttons. And yeah, it's just so cute. But it's funny. I finished the card. I showed my daughter and she was like, "What is it?" She had no idea what a typewriter was. And it took me a moment to realise that, yeah, why would she know what a typewriter was? But it was a little bit jarring. It made me feel a little bit old. But yeah. So once you've got those three, there's like a row of three of them that you put behind, and then I'm going to add some glue and add that onto the base bit for this typewriter. And I just really like how the matte and glossy black look together. And you've got all these tiny little bits that you can cut that form the keys, like the top of the keys. You don't have to add them, you can leave it as it is, but I just wanted to add a little bit of glittery detail. Now unfortunately I did mess up a little bit, and some of those, the white bit that I put behind the strips, I didn't put them quite low enough, so you can't actually see the white detail on some of those lower keys. So at this point I was like, I'm not doing it again. So I just grabbed a white gel pen and just added some white underneath, and I think that there it does it. I think that it looks fine. So yeah, so here is how we're going to turn this into a pull tab. So this typewriter die, it comes with a little flap at the top that you can fold over and turn it into a typewriter shaped card. So I'm just showing you that bit first. But basically, what we're going to do to create a pull tab is, this die has a slit across the top already that you can use to sort of feed paper out as if it's typing, as if it's being typed on. That makes sense. So you would just cut a slit across the top of your die cut or image, whatever that may be. And you're going to cut two of each of those shapes. So I'm just cutting that tab off the second one. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut the middle from this second die cut. So on the first die cut, you're going to cut a slit across the top of it. And on the second die cut, you're going to cut out sort of all of the middle of the die cut. We're going to leave an edge right the way around that we can use to glue that to our first die cut. So what we're going to have is, you're going to have that slit, and where you're cutting that second die cut, you need to cut up to where that slit is. So be sure that below that slit there is nothing until the very bottom of that second die cut. We're then going to add glue all around the edge, and we're going to attach that onto our first die cut. So I hope the whole slit thing makes more sense now. So we're forming like a bit of a pocket basically. So once I've got those bits together, I'm just adding in all of these detail bits of the typewriter, which obviously you would do if it was you could do this with a stamped image that you've die cut. You could do it with something like this where it's a layered die cut. You can literally do it with anything. Let your imagination and inspiration run wild. So for this pull tab, you get these separate little words that you can use to make a sentiment. So I've got the birthday that I've got here on the typewriter, and this is just the, I don't even know what it's called, the boopy thing at the end that makes the typewriter shoot back across. So I'm just putting it against an A2 panel just so I could see what sort of space it's going to have. So I'm actually using an A2 panel that I've got some glimmer around the edge of. And then the happy part of my happy birthday sentiment is on that cardstock. So can you see there that it's all open? So when I slide that piece of cardstock inside, and this is going to be whatever you're pulling out. So when I slide that inside, it's going to feed through and into that space behind where the bit that we've cut out from our second die cut. Now, to make sure that you can't pull this out too far, I've made sort of a collar of cardstock that I've attached to the first die cut. Thread that cardstock through, and then I've just put a bar of cardstock across that is glued onto the actual pull out bit. So basically that is going to, when that goes up and it meets that collar that we've got that's attached to the die cut piece, it's going to stop it from coming out any further. So I'm now adding some foam tape all around the edge. You want to be careful where you're putting that foam tape because you don't want it to stop that pull motion at all. But as with really any kind of interactive card like this, just keep moving it. So I put a piece of foam tape on, and then I checked that I could still move that piece. The next bit that I put on, I checked that I can still move it, and just be conscious of that. So I'm attaching some foam to the top there because I can on this die cut. Obviously you don't want to attach anything to the bit that you want to be pulling up and out. The foam tape that we've put on the bottom will stop it from going too far in once we've got this attached to a card base. So I'm just going to trim off this paper now. I did it at a little bit of an angle because I thought that would be quite fun. And again, I'm just checking that it comes in and out easily. Now, before I attach this to my card panel, I'm just going to stamp a little pull sentiment on, just so that my recipient knows that there is some sort of interactive feature. And then you can see where I've got all that foam tape there. Then you want to attach that onto your card panel, but you just need to be careful that your pull bit stays where you want it to, because if that does slip down and gets between the adhesive and the card panel, it's not going to pull anymore. And you can just pull it up like that. You can put anything on that piece and it doesn't have to be a typewriter. You know, it could be anything. Maybe it's an egg and you make a jagged cut across the top, and the top of the egg is the bit that you pull up and there's a chick inside. You know, anything, absolutely anything. I don't know where that idea came from. Maybe I was thinking Easter. But, you know, it could be anything. It could be a heart. It could be a crown. And you pull it up and there's a little princess underneath. Just really anything. You don't need a special die for it. Just use what you've got. And if you want to use a particular stamped image and you've not got the die for it, then okay, that's fine. Just as long as you can cut those two pieces just so that there is somewhere for your pull thing to sort of feed into, then yeah, Bob's your uncle, as we would say. here. But yeah, basically just that means that, yeah, then you've got it. So the other part of this large die of the month is these gorgeous florals. And I just love that. Like, I don't even know what kind of leaf it is. I'm not really very good with plants. But the one that I've got in gold there, as soon as I saw this die set, I was like, I need to cut that leaf in gold. And I just, yeah, it was one of those things where it was as good as I needed it to be, as I thought it was going to be. So I'm just adding loads of different bits of foliage, tearing off where, if I want them to sort of sit behind and I can't get them to slide behind because obviously all the foam tape and everything. So just tear it off, cut it off, whatever you need to do. So I'm adding the little tiny flowers and little leaves and just everything. I've sped this up a lot because I do take a while with doing these things, because I enjoy getting everything where I want it to go and testing things, and does it look good there, and I move things around a lot. So I sped it up a little bit just so that you can see my process. If you want to, you can if you tap the 3-dot icon at the top, you can change the speed to slow it down. So I added a few little white pearls from Trinity on those little individual flowers, and that's my card. So I hope that you give that idea a go, and you can see that you don't always have to use or purchase specialist dies to get an interactive feature. I hope you like it. I absolutely adore this large die of the month, and this one, I actually got these videos up in time for you to actually go and get this one if you want it. They are still available as of me doing this voiceover anyway. So I hope that if you aren't subscribed, you'll consider please hitting that button. I'm not that far off 1,000 now, and I'm very excited to get there. That would be awesome. I hope that you have a lovely, happy, safe, and wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye.